Hi everyone, welcome to another video. I'm Laurent Macquart. Today we're going to do a tag, and one that I'm really excited for. I was tagged to do this by Paula from Draw Your Book, and once again, I'm really excited to do this because it's the favorite character tag. So there are 10 questions about favorite characters or characters. Oh, the bunny is being so cute! Oh! Okay, focus. Yeah, I can see the baby bunnies. Initially, when I was just reading the questions, I had no idea for most of the answers, and it was just when I would look through all of the books that I've read in the past years and that I've recorded on Goodreads did answers come to me. And I realized that for a lot of these answers, I went back to old favorites or series that I read when I was younger. And one of those series is one that does not in the end feature in my answers, and that is Harry Potter. I was raised with, as most of people from my generation who like to read, with Harry Potter. However, the author of that series has shown us her true colors with regard to her stance on transgender people, and how she's now actively using the platforms that she has to spread hate and spread things that simply are not true. And I'll link a video about that below. But that has put a dark spot on my love for the Harry Potter characters. So they won't feature in any of these answers, although maybe sometimes I thought, oh yeah, that would have been that, but it's tainted now. So let's start with the first question, and let's go with the happy things. The first question is a character that you love fiercely. And for me, that would have to be Aragorn from The Lord of the Rings. And especially when I read the books in his initial state as Strider, as a ranger, a lone ranger from the north. I just love Aragorn. He's this strong, loyal, striding, fighting for what he thinks is right, not necessarily what he would prefer. Yeah, I love him. And then add to that the whole Viggo Mortensen attitude and way of being in the Peter Jackson movies, and I'm just really happy. So I would have to say Aragorn is a character that I love fiercely, although Faramir is a close second. So the second question is a heavily flawed but loved character, and for that I have chosen quote from The Name of the Wind, and also the second series by Patrick Rothfuss. Yeah, I love quote because he's so intelligent, because he is artistic, because I don't know, it's weird because he's the one character, and he's the one, the savior in a way that I don't necessarily like, and that's what I think is flawed about him, is that the way he's a bit arrogant, and you know he's going to save everybody, and it doesn't sometimes come across as a very natural thing. But somehow I still love him, and I am afraid to say that one of the reasons I might really like him is because he has red hair. I kind of have a very small weakness for people with red hair. So yeah, quote. But I am open for, I mean, I love him, but I'm not sure I'm going to continue loving him depending on what happens in the third book, if the third book ever comes out. So yeah, if that helps or give you any idea in any way. Another character that I heavily flawed but loved was the butler in The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro. Somehow, he's a flawed man in the sense that he's so conservative, but somehow also so dedicated in the way that I really like. So yeah. Then we've got the third question is a character that made you laugh, and that would be Barrington from Mr. Loverman by Bernardine Evaristo. His humor and his way of being sharp, I laughed so many times. And I found out also that I don't have characters that I laugh about that often when looking at all the books. I don't read many funny things. So yeah. So then we've got the fourth question, which is a child character that you really love. And for me, that would have to be, on the one hand, I really like Lucy from The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe and the rest of the Narnia series by C.S. Lewis. I kind of like the way that she's so willing to love and to trust. and still also pretty strong. And I also really like Vasya from the Winter Witch trilogy by Kathrine Arden. It's a series that I really like. I discovered it last year, the year before, and I want to have all the books. But Vasya is this rebellious girl that, I don't know, her heart is really in the right place, and she fights for what she believes in. She sacrifices, she hurts, but she keeps fighting. But I like the way that sometimes you have child characters and they're just a little bit too perfect, and Vasya, you really see her suffering, and therefore I really like the person that she became. Fifth question is an animal character that you really loved. So I started recently rereading the Narnia books. So obviously, a lot of those characters came to mind when I thought of this. So we have got Rippy Cheap, that I found amazing. I find him very funny. I like the way that he is so obsessed with honor. Aslan, obviously, although he's well, we'll talk about Aslan in a video that I'm making about Narnia. And I also really liked, also from the Narnia series, the beavers and the badger, also from Prince Caspian. But if we're veering away from Narnia, then we go back also to the Winter Witch trilogy, and I really liked the horse Solovey. So that's Vasya's horse. He is pretty funny. He's very loyal, but he's still young also and obsessed with food. So he's commentating on Vasya doing something, and he's like, "Oh, but now you give me an apple, so I'm fine." And I really like that. I like the way that he is strong and noble, but like, "Oh, food." Yeah, Solovey. Solovey is pretty cool. And the thing that happens to him broke my heart, if you know what I mean. Then we've got two questions that I thought I didn't really understand why they were two questions. So we've got a character, a strong woman that you love, and we've got a brave character that you admire. And to me, strong and brave, they are very similar. But I was thinking that would insinuate that the brave character is automatically a man then. So yeah, so I'm mixing the two. So we've got a strong, brave character that you admire, and I specifically thought of a woman and a man. Although I will admit that there were multiple women that came to mind. One is Rita from Once Upon a River. She is the woman doctor, and I very much like the way that she is intelligent and also this very warm person. I really liked her, and also how she struggles with her feelings about childbirth and her becoming a mother. I really liked that. I thought she was an amazing character. I also really liked Sarah Agnes Prime from These Is My Words by Nancy E. Turner. I read this book a while back and I want to reread it, but it's a heartfelt American saga. And the main character is Sarah Agnes Prime, and I remember her being this awesome person, the way she grows up very strong, the way she's then a mother and just protecting everybody, the way she fights against injustices. Yeah, I thought she was amazing. And then for the man character that I thought about, it was Frodo from The Lord of the Rings. Frodo is, when I first read The Lord of the Rings, I must have been about 12, and at that time I really wanted to have an adventure. I was reading all of these books and I wanted something to happen that was just not the dreary everyday life. And it's through reading The Lord of the Rings, and it's through seeing Frodo struggle so hard, and going on this adventure, but knowing that he will never be the same, knowing that for him this is not a positive thing. Yes, he's saving the world, but he's changed. That really made me have a different view on adventure and see that there is also this other side to it. And that's the reason that I admire Frodo, that he keeps continuing, although he sees that for him personally it's going to have primarily bad consequences. So yeah, Frodo. So then we've got 3 questions about characters that you didn't necessarily like, and the first one is a character that scares the hell out of you. And for me, that would have to be from The Lord of the Flies by William Golding. Jack, I believe his name is, and that is the boy that kind of leads the group of boys that become barbarians, to put it very simply. The way in which a boy that just used to be a boy in a coral, just switches and becomes so violent and so unappreciative of any life, and just is easily able to murder and to torture others. I thought that just scares me, the fact that is very well possible. So yeah, Jack scares the hell out of me. Then we've got a character that is really mean, and I thought this one was difficult, but I ended up choosing the father from the Karamazov Brothers by Fyodor Dostoevsky. He's just a bad man. He's just nasty. I don't think he has any love in his heart, any real love. Also, the love that he has for, I can't remember what the woman's name is, Grushenka? Something like that. And the one son that he doesn't hate. Still, that love feels very possessive, and the way he treats his other sons and the other people around him, he's just a nasty man. He's just mean. I did not like him at all. So yeah, Fyodor Karamazov. Last question is a character that you really hate. And for that, I will have to give a caveat first, because I read sometimes books that describe situations in countries, in war situations, and you often have a character then that does all of these deeds, but like, for example, a book that is set in Africa and that talks about child soldiers, you still have this person that is boss of all of these child soldiers and the one that chooses to misuse them. But the reason I didn't pick one of those characters is that they aren't really characters. There's a representation of actual people, and so I feel choosing them for I really hate that character is just a little bit too light. It's just a little bit too easy. Those are actual things that are happening. So I ended up choosing the narrator of the book My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh. I hated her. She's a very pretentious millennial who decides to spend a whole year in her house just on drugs. Yeah, she's awful. I don't understand it. I hated her. And then I had to spend the whole book with her. Blech. So yeah, it's too bad that this tag doesn't end on a high. Maybe this tag should end with a character that you love fiercely. Anyway, those are my answers for this tag, and I tag Pauline from Dancing Lawn and Laura from Laura Reads Pages to do this tag. I'm really curious about your answers, and I hope to get a little deeper view of what you think. If you haven't been tagged but you really want to do this, please do this tag and tell me, because I don't know, I really like this one. So thank you for watching. Tell me what your thoughts are on any of these characters below. Bye!